All right, good evening. We'll call the December meeting of the Falls Township Planning Commission to order. If you could please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you call the roll, please?
Colin Henderson. Present. John Henney. Absent. Edward Crowe. Here. Mary Luschek. Absent. Brian Binney.
Here. All right, thank you. We have a quorum. First item on our agenda is Britton Industries, 1 Myleene, Marsville, PA, tax parcel 13-028-077, zoned HI, waiver of land development to construct a new 18,000 square foot building and parking lot.
Good evening, everyone. Mike McGinnis here on behalf of Britton Industries. I want to start off with two items, and the first of which is, while we're grateful for every time you guys get together, we are aware this is a difficult week between Christmas and New Year's, and we know there's other places everybody would rather be, so I would like to apologize for the fact that we're here tonight, and just give a little bit of context. The only reason why we needed this meeting to be held tonight on our end was this application pertains to a building on Britton's site that was destroyed by a fire that they are looking to replace, and it has a compressed time frame. It's a pre-engineered building. It's set to be delivered in a month, and because of that, we didn't have the same sort of flexibility that we normally would, or we would be in front of you in January. So I did want to acknowledge, and I know Dan, who's with me, really appreciates everybody getting together tonight for this. The other housekeeping item that I think likely caused some confusion that I would like to dispel at the outset is this is not a subdivision application. This is a waiver of land development application, and it's to, again, replace the building that was destroyed on site. The plan that was submitted shows 12 lease lines, lease area, leaseholds on the site. The board approved, the Board of Supervisors approved in 2018 the lease areas a couple years ago. And when this plan was submitted, it was intended just to reflect the areas that were previously approved. There was no additional leaseholds that were being created. It wasn't an attempt to create any additional lots on this property. However, I think the cleanest and easiest thing to do here, because again, this is just pertaining to the building, and because there might need to be some small recalibration of acreage on some of the lease areas, is before we head to the supervisors, and I think Heath's on the screen, the plan is just going to be slightly tweaked to eliminate the lease lines. We're comfortable that this is zoning compliant. We've done an analysis of that, so we don't have any concerns, and I think that's probably the simplest way to handle that. So I did just want to address that at the outset. This has nothing to do with the subdivision plan. It's just the hopeful approval of the waiver of land development for the building. As I indicated, this, I think the Planning Commission is familiar with the property. I don't need to give any real additional background. It's zoned HI. As I indicated, the intent of this is to replace the structure that was burnt down at the site. We did go to the ZHB, and we had two zoning approvals pertaining to setbacks, parking and building setback. And the reason for that is because the new proposed structure is going to be slightly closer to the road than the prior structure. There is a building actually closer to the entrance to the site that will be removed from where it's currently depicted. So that will be, I think that's reflected on Heath's plans as well. But otherwise, it's relatively straightforward with respect to what we're proposing here. Everything in Joe's letter is a will comply. We don't have any waiver requests. The waivers that were outlined in Joe's letter don't pertain because it's a waiver of land development. The stormwater comments are will comply, the zoning comments are will comply. So what I would suggest, if Heath is on, just to do a 1 minute brief summary of the plan and then open this up for any questions if that's acceptable. Thanks again.
Am I on?
You're on, Heath.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Heath Dumack Engineering. We're here tonight to discuss the Myleene property. And I apologize, I don't have a presentation document. I'm basically running on my phone, so I can't share any graphics with you. However, this is the same site that I believe has been before you at least twice. The site itself was designed and has NPDES currently in place for the existing impervious surface. With the fire and the proposed demolition of the existing office shop building plus 2 other buildings on site, the proposed impervious as well as building coverage is reduced with this proposed office/shop building. Stormwater management is fully a will comply. The basins were designed back in 2017, 2018. We have updated our NPDES to the current standards, and with the approval of supervisors, we'll be resubmitting the NPDES back with this updated layout.
I guess since Colin wasn't on the board before, and I'm not even sure if Ed was, if you just tell us what other, the plan refers to tenant B and tenant Britton Industries. What exactly does tenant B do? And maybe you can explain to us a little bit about how this building is going to be utilized, what's going to happen in this building that you're going to construct.
Sure. Right now, I believe there's one tenant space that's being utilized, and it's actually to the south of the proposed building. The site itself, if you want the bit of history, back prior to Britton purchasing it, was a derelict, I'll be polite and call it a rat's nest. It's an old 84 lumber facility. Part of the property is in the Falls Township site, in municipality, and part of it is in Marsville Borough. Britton Industries purchased the property and has developed it as part of their mulch and amended soils manufacturing and distribution. They take recycled wood products and basically turn them into mulch. Part of this included expanding the work site areas into Marsville Borough and incorporating additional square footage, impervious surface in and around the Falls side adjacent to the Township Borough border. There is a substantial stormwater management basin that runs parallel to the Delaware Canal. The majority, if not all of the water coming off the site used to sheet flow directly into the canal. It's now controlled, mitigated, and using a series of drainage swales and vegetated rain gardens now is filtered and protects the Delaware Canal from contaminants. This was all this, I'm sorry.
No, and I was just gonna, don't mean to interrupt, Heath, but recollecting standing here, we've been in front of the ZHB a couple times in the last year, but I don't think we've actually been in front of the Planning Commission recently. And Dan's here, and if it would be helpful to give a 90 seconds of background about who Britton is and what they're doing with the site, happy to do that.
I think we all know what Britton does, just like what's the use of the building going to be? I know part of it's office, part of it's some kind of,
Yeah.
it just says for industrial use. I don't know what they're going to repair equipment in there, what they're going to be doing in there.
Dan Carr, Vice President, General Manager of Britton Industries. So the building is the same use as the one that burned. It is both our office and maintenance shop. So we're just doing the same uses in the new building that we did in the one that burned down. Corporate office space is I think 4,000 square feet. And then the remainder of the building is bays where mechanics are and so forth for equipment repair and maintenance. All used by Britton, no space is leased out or anything like that.
There is a tenant though, right? Though.
There is a tenant on the property who occupies a small portion of an existing building, and he has basically a truck depot for over-the-road trucks, and they park their trucks on the property. That's the only tenant we have on the property.
And as far as parking, the trucks that we see, your trucks out on the road, do they park here? Are they stored here?
Yes. The ones you see going down the road?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, they're all parked on our part of the property, not on the leasehold for the tenant.
The question I have is this, you're saying it's your main office and everything like that, so how many visitors would you say you have, or is it mostly just you guys in-house going there?
Any visitors, so to speak, aren't going to the building. Because we are a recycling center, we have a truck scale, and there are people coming in and out of the property today, yesterday, nothing to do with where the office is or that use. We might have one visitor a day, if that.
Okay, sure.
It's mainly accounting and management in the building.
Okay.
I know you said you're gonna take these lease areas off of here, but since we're talking about parking, I note that this one parking area that's proposed shows an access driveway going through a whole bunch of parking spaces.
We relocated the drive. Heath, if you want to just briefly address that.
Sure. The part of this reconfiguration with the new building was to allocate and move the truck scale and I'll call it administrative office as part of the truck scale to better serve and bring it closer to the proposed office building slash industrial shop. The parking will be reconfigured as part of this to reflect that update. Part of the storage and parking allocation is to bring the tractor trailers and Britton trucks and contain them within a certain region of the plan set. So we're not looking to reallocate other areas for the trucks. It's simply putting them and consolidating them into one area.
I'm more particularly talking about the access driveway that goes to tenant lease area 11 that is shown going through the middle of proposed parking that is calculated on this plan.
My apologies, hold on. Looking for lease 11. Lease 11, Dan, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are using that space now, aren't you? It's the northern half.
Obviously, a drawing to.
Here, I'll show you the area that I'm questioning. Right.
Here, see how this is the parking area here, and goes through. This is the This is what we're talking about, see, there's access to 11.
Yeah, we're using lease 11. That's actually used that.
So Heath, the question, and I don't know if you can see anything here, but the question is where the proposed paved drive is located between tenant 3 lease area and tenant 9 lease area. It curves to the, I'll just say the south on the plan, and there's an access way area with a proposed parking area that ends up cutting through a small portion of tenant lease 11 area. I don't know if that's depicted. I don't know if you can access
think-
that
I
from
think
where
I
you are,
s-
Heath.
I think I see it, and I believe, if we're looking at this, that serviced the existing, it didn't service leasehold 11. It was the parking for the existing office and shop building that burned down. I believe that building was directly to the east of that parking area.
Confusion with the note that says proposed parking area.
Yeah, Keith, that's correct. That parking area is actually the parking area from the old building that's still showing in the
Yeah.
plan, which is being replaced
So-
by the parking.
So if I understand correctly, the building that burned down was just adjacent to what's labeled as the proposed parking area. And I believe, based on, Dan, what you're saying, and Heath, this isn't a proposed parking area, this would be an access area, and this reflects the prior parking field that is being modified to reflect the fact that the building is being located closer to Myleene.
Correct. We've demoed the existing, we will be demoing the existing buildings. That's simply the parking field that serviced that building. Realistically, it's still paved and will still be utilized as part of access to the other regions of the site, based on Britton's proposed traffic flows. It's simply, at this point, a paved area.
I don't believe that, but, I mean, it's hard to tell because on the existing features plan, it says there's Jersey barriers that are up there that would not allow that to work like that. But I would just like to make sure that you're calculating the parking for this proposed use and you're using this proposed, you're calling it a proposed paved area, you're using that to calculate the parking, but yet you're showing an access drive which impacts about 8 parking spaces. So I just want to make sure that appropriate parking is,
You mean that we're not creating a non-conforming condition with
That-
respect to,
that the parking actually exists and that this access road that you're showing still is available to these other tenants because I believe they have the right to use it. And if you park cars there, then they don't have the right to use it. And I know you're saying you're using it now, but I assume that there's a reason that there's all these lease areas, which is supposedly to lease them to somebody.
And has the end of this building, but this is our, we occupy that building.
okay.
Where it says 10 and 11 lease area,
Britton occupies tenant, so none of the tenancy, the lease areas, other than tenant 10 lease area are occupied by anybody other than Britton. So it's, I don't think tenant 10 lease area is affected.
Or 10 and 11.
Tenant 11 is occupied by Britton.
So here's the question, and here's, I guess, where I'm gonna pick up where I think he's leaving off. If you're looking at where it says access area, and you see the dotted line going through that parking lot on the east side of tenant 9, you see the parking lot, the big dotted lines. If you're looking at the bottom, like the southeast side of it, it would be crashing into cars in the parking lot. Do you see that? Where he's saying where the proposed is and the proposed access are overrunning each other. It's not like it's driving down the center of the parking area. You'll be driving over cars if they were parked there.
Right, and
That's kind of where he's going
Yeah,
at
yeah,
with it.
no, I understand. My response, and I think what Dan was just addressing, is right where it says on the plan, the note that says access way area, 1.93 acres.
Yeah.
Is approximately the location of the building that was destroyed, and the parking field that you're talking about that's adjacent to that was a parking field that was being utilized to service that building, correct?
Yeah, if you went out there right now, that parking lot is there.
Is it striped or?
Yeah. it's-
Well, I understand that, but
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think the point is, rather than this notation saying proposed parking area, I think the comment is that gets eliminated because the parking field, we're creating a new parking field adjacent to the new building, which eliminates the need to have the parking field that was adjacent to the building that was burnt down. so they wouldn't be crashing into cars because it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a parking lot anymore.
I got you. So with the new proposed buildings that you're saying, because when I'm looking at it, I was thinking that they were part of the proposed parking spots. I'm not seeing where the new spots are coming up to be 55 spaces then at that point instead of the 80 provided. I was thinking that I could see if you're losing some of them, but is there gonna be 55 spaces then, if you're not counting them?
Yeah, I think we have
20,
35.
28 right there, is that right? 20 on
It's
the,
28 and 7, so
Seven, and then the-
35, that's located,
right,
depicted presently on the
Right.
plan.
right, and that, right, so say the proposed area is 33 spaces, where it's saying here that it's required to be 55, you have a total of 80 now, so you're gonna actually have 33 spaces with only 2 handicap spaces, is that correct? So instead, you're gonna go from 80 to 33, is that right? Plus the 2 handicap, is that right?
You're looking at the note that says 80 required, or 80 provided, and we have 55, and
Well,
now
so,
the
yeah, it says
question
total
is, if those
required, right.
spaces get deleted. Hold on, I need to count.
I don't wanna beat
Yeah,
beat
no, I-
this
I
all-
under-
I
it's
don't
a
wanna beat
valid-
this all night, but Joe, if you could just make sure that the
It's a
appropriate amount
valid-
of parking spaces are there.
We can't go to the supervisors without depicting the number of plans that are required by the zoning ordinance, which we're calculating as being 55 spaces.
Unless
So
you have them on there.
they have to be on there.
Clarification, gentlemen. I believe there's 57. If you count the loaded aisle that's not interrupted by that access way, you'd have 57 spaces.
Okay.
If you take out the 19 that are being interrupted by that access way, or if you add them back in, I think you get closer to what they proposed as 80 plus or minus. But I would suggest that once the lease areas are modified, which we know has
We
to
have to
happen,
restripe.
we'll realign that access way to go straight down through the middle and not interrupt those spaces, whereas the applicant said they'll have a zoning issue.
Perfect, thank you.
No, it's a good point, you're completely correct, that if
appreciate
those
it.
spaces are basically being, I think, double counted right now, if they're not
Right.
gonna remain, then there needs to be an allocation that depicts them on the site, and we need to do that before the supervisors, one way or the other.
And I acknowledge the fact that this place is just wide open.
No,
Full of
it's
stone, and
true.
everybody
Yeah.
drives wherever they want and parks wherever they want, but
We still need to be zoning
Correct.
compliant at the end of the day.
anything else, Ed?
No, I'm good, I'm fine,
Anything
thank
else,
you.
Colin?
I'm good.
Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Mr. Jones, you have anything?
Nothing more to add.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion. You gentlemen are here for the next application, correct?
Okay, I make a motion to accept the waiver of land development application for Britton Realty of Morrisville LLC, M-Y Lane, TMP number 13-025-075-001, Zone Highway Industrial District, Township of Falls, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, JEA project number LD 21-24.
I'll second. Excuse me. I'll second.
Hold the board.
Colin Henderson.
Yes.
Edward Crowe, yes. Brian Binney.
Yes. All right, thanks so much. All right, next item on our agenda is Hiossen, 85 Ben Fairless Drive, Fairless Hills, PA, tax parcel 13-051-001-020, zoned MPM. Sketch plan to construct a 30,000 square foot addition and associated improvements. Floor is yours.
Yes, I'll jump in. Yes, Mr. Chairman, Rob Dunlop here for the applicant.
With me tonight is Todd Baldwin, engineer from Van Cleef, and Texter Nam, the project architect. As much as I like to be there in person, Brian, I'm on my 6th day of quarantine, and notwithstanding the CDC guidelines today to reduce it to 5 days, I thought it was best to stay clear and connect by video. So that's why I'm doing so.
Works for us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
So, Brian, if I could, just by way of brief background, Hiossen is an existing owner and an occupant of this property. They run their business there. Dental implants is what they do. They manufacture dental implants at this property, and they have about 26,000 square feet, and at times up to 70 employees work out of here. They're proposing an addition of about 32,000 square feet with another 5,000 for office space. And they're revamping and ripping up some excess blacktop and impervious that's not needed and cleaning up the site. The positive with this user is they are an extremely low traffic user. They have a few trucks a month that come in with materials for purposes of processing the dental implants, and they only have one truck leaving a week, a box truck, that fills up these dental implants and takes them out. So it's a very low impact user with trucks, and they're making a commitment here to stay and expand long term because their business is expanding. So with that background, if it's okay with you, if I could have I'll give an overview of the site and what's being proposed, and then Texter has some architectural he'd like to share with you, get some input from you tonight so that we can then go and fully design the land development plans.
Thanks, Rob. So just to describe what exists out there today, virtually the entire site is...
Can we turn that microphone on?
Yep, it looks like it's turning on. Can you hear me now? Or
Yeah.
We got you,
good?
thanks.
All right. Sorry about that. So the existing site today is virtually all either pavement, parking, concrete, or building. There's a small portion of the site on the I'll call it the northeastern corner, near the intersection of Searles Boulevard and the other non-public road along the north side of the property. There's a grass area there that's lawn, but for the most part, this is a previously developed site. With respect to what exists there today, again, there's a roughly 26,000 square foot building there today. On the south side of the existing building, referenced in the sketch plan that we submitted, there's some trailers that will be removed. There is a building there that is a chemical container building that will be relocated to the north side of the existing building. There's various features on site like guide rail, barriers, fencing, things of that nature that are going to need to be either removed or relocated to accommodate the proposed project. In terms of the proposed project, the building addition is going to be situated on the south side of the existing building and allow enough room on the east side of the proposed building expansion to have a loading area in the rear portion of the proposed building addition. The existing paved area, which is, there's only maybe 10 or so striped parking stalls out there today. It's just unstriped. No curbing whatsoever. The applicant intends to install curbed asphalt paving throughout the entire project and make it a little bit more defined dimensionally, I'll say, to be more conforming with the standards of the ordinance with respect to access widths, sidewalk widths, parking stall dimensions, et cetera. The vast majority of the site that's paved today will be reclaimed and turned into a proposed lawn area, and those features are better depicted on the renderings that were provided to give you a better, clearer picture of what's being proposed there. With that, some areas that are being reclaimed to grass will have a proposed pervious pavement walking path that's being proposed in an effort to have an area for the workers to walk around on their lunch break, get some exercise, get some fresh air, that sort of thing. really enhances the aesthetic of the project. And then also within those areas, we'll be providing landscaping in accordance with the zoning requirements of the township. Again, just sprucing that all up, cleaning this up, just really making it more aesthetically pleasing. In terms of utilities, there's existing utilities on site. We'll either be proposing new tap connections or making connection through the existing building to service the new building. And from a stormwater management standpoint, there's some existing conveyance features on the site that will either need to be relocated, removed, or refurbished with respect to new grade that will be proposed to grade the new site. We're working through some details on what exactly is going to be needed from a structural stormwater management point with the township engineer at this time. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else here I wanted to cover. There's about a 52% reduction in impervious area from what's there today and what will be proposed with all the reclamation that's going to happen. The proposed building is roughly 32,000 square feet. The first floor will be all manufacturing space. There's a partial second story level, roughly 5,000 square feet, that will be office space. I believe that's all I really had to walk you through on the site plan, so I'd be happy to answer any questions on the site or turn it over to Texter if you have anything specific with respect to the building.
No, I think if the final plans come out, look anything like this, I think it'd be a great improvement down there. I know your company was in front of us about 15 years ago with the big proposed building and they never built it, so I hope you follow through with this one.
Understood. We did receive 3 reviews on the sketch, and the comments are fairly minor in nature, and they'll all be addressed with the detailed design for preliminary land development application. We did receive the township engineer's review, the fire marshal, and the traffic consultant's review.
The only, I can't really tell from the rendering how the proposed loading and unloading is supposed to be. I assume it's going to be off of Sorrells Boulevard, and it just looks like that might be a little tight, so the only thing I would comment on is to make sure that we can have proper flow of traffic without messing up Sorrells Boulevard.
Sure, yeah, one of the comments, I think, from the traffic engineer was to provide truck turning templates to demonstrate we can achieve what we need with respect to loading and access through within the site.
You're not gonna have multiple trucks, you said 1 or 2 trucks a week, right?
Yeah, we provided a summary in the.
Something like, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah, something like that's not.
Yeah, it's a low traffic and,
Yeah. The only thing I wanna, my background's medical, so, the handicap spots, I know that it looks like everything looks great there. I can't recall offhand how many spots need to be handicapped, so just be conscious of that, that's the only thing I'm asking.
okay, yeah, that's,
I mean, it looks great, and even if you needed to, at that south side, it looks like you could even add a couple regulars if you had to lose a couple in the front, so.
Yeah.
Just food for thought, so before you get there, it's not gonna be a problem at that point, that's all.
yeah. Yeah, we'll comply with the total ADA parking based on the total proposed.
Yeah, I mean, everything looks clean, looks great, guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, Texter could give a quick 1-minute overview of the plans. He spent a lot of time, and we think we have a pretty unique building down there. Let's just give a quick 1-minute overview as to the design he came up with for the site.
Sure. Thanks for having us. The building is simply a manufacturing facility. It has about 20,000 square footage of open shop that is equipped with about 100 CNC machines. So all this dental implant is being manufactured in this high precision CNC machine, and the rest of the floor is mostly support function to ensure the precision and the cleaning of this product and the post calibration. So basically ground floor is mostly production line and support function, and there's about 2,000 square feet of the office space and lots of back of the house function of the mechanical room to ensure a certain temperature of the production room. The second floor is total about only 5,300 square footage. It's going to be about 85 people capacity cafeteria for employees and some of the lounge space and conference room. The lounge space will accommodate some resting for employees and occasional visit of the dentist who wants to take a look at the facility. That's about it. And it has huge open floor concept around the production line. Yeah.
So is, in the construction of this, is there gonna be any green energy or green roofs or anything like that proposed or utilized?
We haven't really got there yet, but we are just about to finish the layout of the interior. We will explore further to accommodate any strategy for the green environmental consideration for sustainability.
I see that comment coming from the Bucks County Planning Commission more and more, so.
Okay.
How do you like the facade, Mr. Chairman, the way it slopes down like that? Pretty unique, huh?
Yeah, it'll be a big change from the commissary building that they're in right now. So I am familiar with what down there and all the buildings that were there aren't there anymore, but yeah, I think it'll be a great improvement to the property and I think it'll look great there. And I'm glad to see that you're expanding. Like I said, I hope you follow through because I've seen plans for this before.
Okay, we're moving forward to engineer it. We hope to file fully engineered plans in about 3 weeks and we'll continue forward and we'll see you again in a couple of months.
Joe, is there anything you need to like to point out or
Can't hear you, Joe.
you muted?
My apologies, nothing at this time, I just echo the comments from the board that it would be a great improvement.
I assume there's no public comment?
No public comment.
So I think this is a sketch plan. We don't need to make a recommendation, but I think as far as, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we like what we see.
Yeah. I like how you made it act like a park kind of atmosphere for your employees around that. I like that, a lot of extra green and stuff like that, it's nice.
All right,
Excellent. Thank you for your
thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The last item on our agenda is the approval of minutes for November.
I make a motion to approve the amendments for November.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Diane, just a question, like